guys, how are you? Welcome to Dump the Junk. This is probably one of my most favorite part of our program. So this is just a really important and exciting time, because if you are really feeling disconnected body, mind, and spirit, the best part of Dump the Junk is this is an opportunity for your body to become whole. So a lot of times when we are focusing on changing our world or changing our life with either weight frustration or anything, emotion, finances, anything that's going on with our life, we tend to focus on a separate piece of ourselves. So the goal of Dump the Junk, even though we're focusing on things again that we can control, or that, you know, the kind of doing the easiest stuff, the goal is to bring us together as a whole woman. So I love this. This is just so exciting for me. So let's get started. So Dump the Junk. What does Dump the Junk mean to you? For me, this could mean emotionally, physically, and even spiritually dumping. Now that you have checked yourself and figured out the why in your life, it is time to let go and give yourself a clean slate to work with by dumping the junk. The letting go process for me is and was the hardest thing I am learning in this life. Whatever is holding you back from moving forward, this process will let you know what that thing is. You will be looking at yourself in a whole new light, the good, the bad, and the ugly in this part of the program. The part always makes me see my true self and what I really need to do to let go and dump the junk that is not serving me anymore. Do not be hard on yourself if you have some resistance in this step. We have all been there. In fact, every time, so true, every time I do this step, I find myself taken back by why am I resisting? Sometimes going back in the last two steps of the program will allow you to see your why. It is so important for your overall well-being to move forward and dump anything that is holding you back. Recognize the emotions that fill you and allow them to no longer control you. Take back control. Don't let it control you. Dumping the junk means dumping not just food, but it also means letting go of people, letting go of emotions and spiritual limitations that you have placed on yourself. I know that sounds kind of strange, but sometimes we allow people to come into our life that doesn't serve us because it's a comfort. Or sometimes we allow an emotion or even a spiritual limitation to come into our life because it is of comfort. I'll talk about that a little bit later on. I've carved out another blueprint for you to follow. As times go on, you can customize this section of the program for what suits you. So you'll be able to kind of play around with things. It does not matter what piece of yourself, body, mind, and spirit you are working on, you will always do this step. There is no shortcuts, nor can you cut corners. Each process is just as important as the next. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is break yourself up into 3 separate sections. And like I've said in the last 2 classes, if you can stop this class, if you have not printed this out, let's just do this together. So also, if I'm moving a little too fast for you to fill things out, just stop the class, fill whatever you want to fill back, and then come back to me. So everybody just goes at a different pace. So I'm gonna flow through things, and then hopefully just come back when you can. So physical addictions. Your first step is letting go of your physical addictions. Now this can be a whole subject onto itself, but maybe who knows? Maybe I'll make that into a separate program. What I want to help you with in this program is letting go of physical addictions such as sugar, artificial sweetener, caffeine, nicotine, white flour, and alcohol. Now there are many more physical addictions out there, like gambling, there's sex, computers, pharmaceutical drugs. I lost my place. Caffeine, nicotine, white flour, alcohol. There are many more addictions. Everyone is different, and all of our addictions are different. I want you to take responsibility of your own health and really think about the addiction that you might have. If you tell yourself that you do not have any addictions, and this is not an area you need to work on, then you have just come across your very first block, and you're allowing yourself to move forward. Please write down what your physical addictions may be. So we'll explore this a little bit later on. But this is really important, and remember that addictions can be different. Addiction is also a sense of comfort. So my first one is caffeine, and I gave up caffeine for a long time. And then after a year of having Sophia, I was like, oh my gosh, I really need that caffeine. And just like any addiction, I had it for a week, and caffeine for a week, and it felt great and felt wonderful, and it tasted really good, and I've continued. The second one is work. I tend to have a work addiction. I tend to like to overwork, and I'm really working on that now. The third is wanting to hurry up and get things done. Like, oh my gosh, I try to be a perfectionist, which takes me a long time, and then I need to hurry up and get it done. The fourth one is caring what others think. And that, I think, has been the hardest thing about me, really putting myself out there in the raw to you, and to create this sisterhood and really put the Be Well Revolution out there. And it's because I'm always concerned about what people think. So I'm going to, this Dump the Junk round, I've done Dump the Junk many of times, and that's the one primary thing that I am going to actually let go of. So, yay! So, once you've written them down, and you can do a fifth one. Once you've written them down, I want you to do nothing except be aware of what you might fall back into in times of comfort and familiarity. That's a word. When this part of the program is challenging. It's funny how we tend to go back to habits that we do not like because the addiction is a sense of comfort. Your emotional addictions. Your next step in dumping the junk is letting go of emotions that are not serving you. We have already done a lot of this earlier in the program, but this exercise will pinpoint what you really want to dump. Write down 3 emotions that are holding you back from really being able to move forward in your health and wellness goals. So the first one I tend to fall back on is I want to hurry up and be busy. So I tend to add on a lot onto my plate so that I have that feeling. Really, like, that does not serve me well at all. The second one is being emotional around my finances, that I have enough. And then definitely fill out a third one. I just want to give you a couple examples. Some of you might be thinking, just 3? I have a bunch of them. I sometimes do also, but getting overwhelmed with focusing on too many things can fog up what you're really trying to do. So please just pick 3 emotions. I'll give you the tools in just a few minutes so you can finally heal from those emotions that are not serving you. Okay, our next one is spiritual addictions. The last step is really letting go. Could be, the least for me, the hardest thing to let go of. This is dumping the junk spiritually. I want you to let go of your limiting belief systems. Not having enough, not being enough, and that nothing is working. These things are that you can control, even if they are beyond your control. So if you're like, I'm always going to be in pain, I'm never going to feel good, I'm not enough, I'm not good enough to put out the Be Well Revolution program. I'm just giving you some things that have come up for me that I've been able to heal. I'm never going to be happy with my body. I'm never going to. Do you see? That's more of that's your spiritual self. So I want you to write down what you need to let go of spiritually so that you can move forward in your health and well-being. So I just gave you a bunch of examples. So, okay. Oh, and one of them for me, the last time I did this was there's not enough time. And I actually have learned how to time bend, which I'm really excited to teach you in the next part of your program called Source, the next one of your foundations. And it's just really cool. So anyway, so we're going to get started with actually dumping the junk. And we're going to start right now. Today, you're going to start the process of physically dumping the junk. You're going to take all the foods and chemicals that you know that are causing you harm. Did I just make you gasp a little? How many of you just said, I'm not ready? Or I can't right now because I've got the birthday party, I've got pies in the fridge, I've got cookies, I've got a bake sale I've got to do, I've got a party I need to go to, right? So you're gonna, some of you might feel that you need to, there's these excuses. It does not matter what health concerns you have right now. Everyone can take out things that are harmful. We are going to have 3 steps in this physical dumping. Step 1. The first step is very simple. Starting right this second, you'll be cutting out sugar. I know. Okay, so I don't want you to panic. I'll be sharing with you a lot of my favorite recipes that you actually will not miss any sugar. And I know you're like, okay, that's not possible. Really, it's possible. So, and we'll talk about that on Facebook, and we'll talk about that weeks 1 through 6 for you. This does mean and include all of your artificial sugars. So I'm a big component of stevia, but remember stevia is from a plant. So all of your sugar-free this and sugar-free that and sugar-free this, I personally believe that that actually causes more harm than your table sugar. This also includes your organic sugar or your coconut sugar, any of those sorts of things. Oh, I have my doggy who's got a little cough beside me. The simple act of cutting out sugar will free your body, your mind, and your spirit. I wish I could say weaning yourself off slowly is an option, but I've never seen anyone succeed at doing it in this way. Yes, you might get a headache, but I promise you, getting off sugar and you're getting a headache, the headache will go away. If you do not add sugar back into your life, you'll never have to go through this again. So that's the nice part about doing some of this, is you're like, I will never have to feel like this again. And that's just part of the addiction, the withdrawal. So I just think that's the coolest part. If you are thinking about having your last sugar treat this second, hurry up while we are reading you your next step. So please take this opportunity if you're like, oh my gosh, I've got whatever in the fridge or I've got whatever in the cupboard. And I really, oh my gosh, I can't just stop this class and not have sugar. Then I want you to stop the video and I want you to go and get whatever treat that you want and make yourself that cup of coffee or that cup of tea or whatever that is that you need to have. Like, oh my gosh, I've got to have it one more time. Just know that I have a modified version waiting for you, so you don't really need to visit that again. But if you feel that you do, I want you to make it amazing for yourself. So I want you to take your treat and I want you to put it in a beautiful plate. I want you to go sit at the table. I want you to listen to music. I want you to light a candle. I want you to make it a full embrace ceremony of letting it go. And I want you to actually enjoy your food. So please go ahead and go do that if you need that ending piece. And then we're here for you. So come back and we're here for you. So it's okay if you want to go do that. But make sure you come back because I want to see you. Okay. So if you are struggling with this step, like, oh my gosh, I can't have this, this amazing dish and I want to wait till next week because I've got that birthday party or what have you. I want you to know that that means that you're having a block in moving forward in creating the life and the body that you want. And just write that down. Why is sugar keeping me from reaching my optimum goals? Like, what is it about sugar? I also want to, there's many studies now out there that will, that explain how sugar will have the same chemical makeup as cocaine. So I want you to know that sugar really is an actual addiction. And it has to do with, how your it reacts chemically in the body. So just know that it really is a hard addiction to give up. That said, you're going to feel the withdrawals, but you're going to feel so much better. The next thing you'll be letting go of is caffeine, alcohol, nicotine, and non-prescription drugs. Now, for some of you, this might be super easy, and for some of you, this might be the hardest thing to dump of them all. Please check with your doctor if you are addicted to drugs or alcohol. Please be safe and ask for help if you need it. If you are not able to let go of these substances, do not let this stop you from continuing the program. We are here for you, and there is absolutely no judgment. I'm going to say that again. We are here for you, and there's absolutely no judgment. I want you to understand that this is a judgment-free sisterhood society. I did that primarily because we are all at different levels of our health, right? And part of taking back control of your own health and well-being is knowing where you're at and what you're working on. It could be something different from your sister. So just know we all are in completely different places. We all need and have completely different things going on in our world. We do not judge one another. If I see a fellow sister that's judging, I promise you that I will take care of it as quickly as I can. So I just want to let you know, this is a place that you can just speak freely. You can have challenging things. Please let us know, let us support you and help you. Also, I'm not a doctor and I'm not there in front of you. So I really need you to be in control and really be responsible for your own health. And if there's something that you really need help with, please reach out to a professional for that help. So I just wanted to be very clear on that. And with that, it's a gateway to, I have a secret to tell you. So I'm going to read this, but I might not get all the way through. I probably get all the way through, but okay. So this is something that my friends and family really don't know. A lot of them don't know. I started smoking when I know, who's shocked, when I was 14 years old, until, well, we'll just say for a very, very, very long time. Yeah, how many of you guys are shocked? I can tell you I'm just as shocked, and I really am, that I'm even telling you guys this. I was a closet smoker for years, and I was such a closet smoker that, not only did my closest friends not know that I smoked, but I would purposely make sure that nobody smoked on me. So I didn't smoke in the morning. I didn't smoke during the afternoon. It would be in the evening. And I even had a wellness center, and so I bought this really old 1800 farmhouse, and the front half was this wellness center, and I was back, I lived in this kind of more of an apartment kind of section, and I would have 3 air purifiers on. I'd be sitting there, I'll lounge back with my glass of wine and smoking a cigarette, reading anatomy and my physiology books or my pathology books, and doing my homework. And I knew the irony of all this, but because my addiction was so strong, I just couldn't help it. And I'd make sure everything was cleaned up. I mean, my addiction was that intense. So anyway, that's my story. The only reason why I'm telling you this story is because I want you to know how much compassion and empathy I have for addictions. I get it. I understand it. And like I said prior, please do not think that you cannot move forward with doing this lifestyle if you have an addiction. You might not be ready to give up your addiction today, but maybe 6 months or a year or whenever 5 years, when you've decided that, hey, I'm ready to let go, all of us as sisters will be here for you to help you through. However, we can be there for support. We can't do it for you. We're not doctors, none of that. But what we can do is be here and love you and cherish you and support you. Okay, let's get down to the nitty gritty. This is step number 3. We're going to customize your food pyramid. So what you're going to see is, this is going to be different. The graphic designer is working on this now. This is kind of just my thing. What you're going to see is a pyramid. I don't think it's going to have all these lines, but you're going to start, week 1 is going to start at the bottom, and you're going to build your food pyramid up. And you might be asking, how come this just isn't done for me? And part of taking back control of your own health and well-being is recognizing that we are all different. and we all have completely different needs, and what works for one person might most likely is not going to work for you. And I really learned that throughout, I started dieting when I was in second grade, and what I really learned is things that really worked for other people, it just didn't work for me. And so I have created a way for you to get back connected, because we need food. We need food for fuel. We need food for healing. Food really is medicine, but we need to treat it that way. Food can also cause us a lot of harm. But what might cause my body harm might really not cause your body harm. And so just understanding that premise, like you could have your family of 4, and each person might have a different dietary need depending on so many factors. And so part of doing this food pyramid is to figure out what does your body need. Like, you're not going to open up a book and say, I'm going to eat this week 1 and week 2 and week 3. No, you actually are going to figure out what your body needs. And then you can go back when you notice, I haven't been following my own food pyramid, and that's why I'm disconnected, or my body's reacting in this way, or telling me, hey, I need to go back. So week 1, and make sure you do check with your doctor, because what we're doing now is a rebirth. So, remember, if you've had children, or when you were little, you were introduced food slowly, or to make sure that, to see how your body's reacting. We're going to revisit that again. Or, think of it as, more of like elimination, so that you can figure out what's going on with your body. And these are all building on one another to help you with that process. So, week 1, you'll be consuming only leafy greens and healthy fats. And when we're talking about what your body needs, we're talking about macronutrients. So there's 3 vital things that your body needs, and that is protein, carbohydrates, and fat. And I have done so many different programs. I've done cleansings and juicings, and to be honest, they all work temporarily, but it really does not actually teach you what your body actually needs and what works for your body. So by consuming leafy greens and healthy fats, you're going to be getting all 3 of your macronutrients. And I know people are like, you're going to get protein from leafy greens. Absolutely, because you're going to be eating enough leafy greens. If that's all you're eating is your leafy greens and your healthy fats, and you're actually going to see, I gave you for week 1, you're actually going to see a grocery list. So it's going to be more than leafy greens. You're actually going to see some other green foods in there. So I just wrote down leafy greens, but that wording will change. But anytime you consume nutrients from your food, you really need a fat to be paired with that. And that, I think, was at least missing for me. So I also want to express, and we'll talk about this in week 1, fat doesn't make you fat. And there's a misconception about that. And we'll go over that a little bit more weeks 1 through 6. So you're going to have all of your green foods, and you're going to have healthy fats. And so you're going to be experimenting with all these different, these green foods, and you're going to be experimenting with all these different, adding like fat and how much to add to fat. And you're going to find that by introducing food that maybe you haven't had in a while, like, oh my gosh, you really love this, or oh, I don't like this at all, this is not for me. And so we're going to be reintroducing food in a way that you've never had before. Week 2, you'll be adding in some of your colorful veggies, and we're going to have so much fun with that. That's going to be a blast. And again, it's just adding in more nutrients into your diet. You're going to be adding in with fats, and that you're going to be working on your second part of the pyramid. Okay? Oops, wherever that is. Okay, right here. So that'll be your second part of the pyramid. Okay? All right. So the third, you'll be consuming proteins that feel luscious to your body. So some people it's meat. Some people it really is meat. I do encourage you to do local meat versus just go into the grocery store. But sometimes for some people, meat just does not serve them. And so they're going to get proteins that are more, maybe they'll keep with their vegetables. Maybe they, some of us had a ton of fun with the vegetables, and so we'll just keep with protein from our vegetables. Some people will add in different things, and you'll see a list of things I want you to feel comfortable introducing to your body. So again, we're a judgment-free society, so we're all here to support one another. So week 4, you'll be consuming yummy carbohydrates like colorful fruits. You will actually notice that we don't do a lot around, or I don't introduce a lot around like wheat and those types of carbohydrates, simply because yes, they absolutely are carbohydrates, but we want to introduce things like fruit, and that's what I want you to introduce to that. The other stuff really is not really needed. It's a nice filler, like your rice and your wheat and all of that are beautiful extras when you want them, but they're it's just not a necessity to your body. And we'll talk more about that in week 4. Week 5 and 6, you'll be experimenting with additional extras like your wheat or your rice, or just some of those other like luscious, yummy, amazing foods. So we'll experiment with that. Now, anytime we go through some of your experiment, you might find, oh my gosh, my body didn't react, or oh my gosh, now I've got cravings. Now I've got this. So please keep in communication when you get through weeks 1 through 6 of how you're doing, and that's what our Society Facebook is for. If this feels too hard, remember that could be another block. Ask yourself the important question if you need to. What will you be creating is a starting point for your body. Many of us eat, drink in a way that our emotions enjoy, but not our body. If you are struggling with overweight or underweight, depression, anxiety, again, one thing that my clients really, they'll come to me and they're like, I'm so depressed. And I'm like, well, what's going on in your life? And I'm like, oh, my mom just died, or my favorite pet just passed away, or you should be depressed. So there's a difference between depression, where there isn't a lot of circumstance, versus being depressed because something traumatic has happened. So I just want to be clear on that. So those are two different things. Same thing with anxiety. If like things aren't going well at home and you're feeling really anxious, that's something to be anxious about. That's your inner woman, that inner bee, your egg wisdom. We'll talk about something that'll be exciting, egg wisdom, later on. But that's saying, hey, something needs to shift, something needs to change. That's not an actual anxiety condition. Skin disorders can come up. So your rashes, acne, anything red, eczema, psoriasis, all of that. So those are just three of the things that come up. So welcome to getting through Dump the Junk, and you did it. You've done it. So now that we're through this part, you're actually now going to go into week 1. You still have a foundation, which is like, oh, it's my favorite. It's called Source, and we're really going to get into living, eating, exercising, not exercising because that's such a 4-letter word for me, moving your body, working, living life as a woman. And this is going to be my most exciting, earth-moving wisdom that I could possibly give you. I'm over the top excited about sharing all my information about how to live in the woman. And so when you go through week 1 and you watch that video, definitely go back and watch Source. Now, just to let you know, you don't have to you can just continue weeks 1 through 6 and then just visit Source whenever you want. But it really is fun to just read Source, read what I wrote, and watch the videos, and do weeks 1 through 6. So we'll have a ton that we get to talk about. So I do encourage you to do that. So thank you so much for this lesson. If you have any questions and you want to just kind of get in on the conversation, just visit us on our Facebook page. It's for all of us to be able to communicate, and I'm here for you, and I love you, and enjoy your dump the junk. I will see you all in Source in week 1. All right, bye.